Yo, what is up? What is going on, people? Got a few people in the house today. Fatal J, Film Elitist, and
Oh,
Ashley the Widow, who hasn't
Hello,
been
hello,
on the channel in a
hello.
while. How you guys doing?
Yes,
what's up,
good.
everybody?
I'm gonna put the names up there for you guys. Excellent. So before we go through, we'll let these guys talk about the channels real quick. I'll start off with Fatal J because it's his first time on my channel. Welcome, brother. Talk to the people. Tell them about your channel, sir.
I'm glad to be here. When you go to Fatal J channel, my main content is bow-legged midget strippers. If that excites you, if that turns you on, make sure to check that out.
That's not what
Send
I
me
was
the
expecting him to say.
Send me the link and I will go and check that out. Damn right. Widow, Ashley, talk to
Hey,
the
I
people.
know. Well, right, I've been gone for a while, and I was gonna come back this week and do some stuff, but I will be back very soon. But sometimes we need breaks, right? But I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. And next up is my boy Film Elitist. What's up, brother? Glad you could be back again. It's been a minute with you too.
Yeah, man, glad to be here. I don't really do anything with my channel anymore. Just go on other people's streams. So check out The Widow. Check out Biggerford Entertainment. Fatal J. It's my first time meeting you, but I'm sure your channel's cool, man. So yeah, just check these guys out.
Absolutely. And I'll say this. Even though you ain't doing much with your channel, we got to do the karaoke thing again, bro.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we gotta get
And,
Nerdman on that.
and I'm Too Sexy has to happen again, and we have to
Oh,
clip
oh, yeah.
it.
Of course. I still have that whole stream on my computer.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was so fun.
Yeah,
That was so fun. So what's
yeah, we'll
up? We
definitely do that.
got a few people up in the house here tonight. Matt's Mama Bear, Walk Hard, Caleb. Thank you guys for joining Mystic Shadows. Much appreciated. And we're here to talk some Spider-Man, man, because a couple of these guys haven't been on there talking about it. So I said, let me do a stream with some people that I haven't talked about Spider-Man No Way Home with. And Fatal said he would come on. Film Elitist and Ashley said they would come on. So thank you guys for coming once again. Much appreciated. And I want to know, what are you guys' first impressions of the Spider-Man movie? I'm going to start with you, Fatal.
Now, as y'all know, I'm a Tom Holland hater. Like I've
Most
always
people
thought from
are.
the jump. Now, I will say this: in Civil War, they nailed it. It was the Russo brothers. Endgame and Infinity War, they killed it with Tom Holland. I guess it was the director. But that Far From Home, Homecoming, I never did like Tom Holland. This right here, much respect, because even though we had dope cameos all the way through the whole movie, Tom Holland outshined the most acting wise. So, as a Tom Holland hater, now I'm kind of mixed right now because I was surprised he did his thing. He outshined William Dafoe. He outshined Jamie Foxx. He outshined everybody, man. So, hey, man, that blew me away because I was expecting to like the villains and all that more than him, and it was the other way around, man.
Yes, that's good. I think he turned around a lot of people with this movie.
He
You know what I
did.
mean? Because a lot of people were talking about the Iron Boy Jr. stuff and they erased all of that. And we'll get into all of that stuff. But
Because if
I
you think
really,
about this, bro, you can do away with Far From Home and Homecoming and just focus on this joint and just keep it moving. That's why I like at the very end, and spoilers, you should have seen it by now anyway. But
facts, we're spoiling it anyways.
at the very end, I like the reboot. I like how
Mhm.
he erased everybody's minds. Start fresh with this Tom Holland, this Peter Parker, and let's get it cracking because this is the Spider-Man Peter Parker that we wanted, the one that was the true hero. Because when you look at Marvel Comics, the number one character is Spider-Man. It ain't Iron Man. It ain't Captain America. It ain't the Avengers. Everybody knows Spider-Man first. It should have always been like that. It should have never been Iron Boy Jr. or Doctor Strange Jr., whoever Jr. Spider-Man is the leader of Marvel, period. So I'm digging that. I'm digging that.
Absolutely. Phil Miletus, your first impressions. What'd you think? Oh, first let me answer this real quick. Yellow, it's a troll because I heard a lot of people saying that about the movie. So I popped that in there. Hopefully people will see it and be like, oh, let me watch this and see what these guys are saying. So yeah, with that. But Phil Miletus, go ahead. What are your first impressions of this movie?
Yeah, I dug it, man. I went in with some expectations of, because I'm a Tobey Maguire fan, mainly a Raimi movie fan. I love that original Raimi trilogy. So I went in with a little bit of expectations of wanting a little more out of the Tobey stuff, but I didn't have a problem with it. When I took that, nostalgia stuff off and just looked at the movie for what it is, it's like an 8 out of 10 for me. Um, I had a few problems, but I mean, overall, like Fatal J was saying, that ending, I was crying, dude. Like,
Yeah.
from all the, like they say, fan service moments or whatever, nothing got me more than that ending, dude. When he
My
was,
wife was crying, bro.
bro, that shit was sick. When he had the police scanner and he sewed that suit up and he was going out there to fight crime, old school Spidey style, just swinging through New York. If something about that felt very Spider-Man to me, and I just started like getting emotional.
Bro, they took a risk with Aunt May, bro. Because
Oh yeah,
when she first got hit by the what they call it, the gliding glider or whatever. When
Yeah.
she got hit by that glider, bro, I know everybody did she get hit for real? Is she gonna die? I know everybody was thinking about did she get hit? And then when she started talking a little bit, and then she started getting weaker and weaker and started repeating herself, bro, the tears were starting to get.
I feel you, man.
yeah,
And that's a good film when you the tears is flowing.
Right.
Absolutely. When you get emotion from a movie, yeah. Go ahead.
And
Finley.
what he said about Tom Holland, that was my biggest takeaway too. Like, I liked the Tobey and Andrew Garfield stuff, but really, I mean, at the end of the day, Tom Holland, it was like his movie, and I was happy about that they didn't take away from him. It kind of, if anything, furthered him into turning into more of the Spider-Man that we need him to be, and also just growing up. That was a movie about him growing up. Like, I feel like the other two movies were more about like, let me learn some lessons, but this is like, okay, it's time to grow up. Like, there's no more, I'm not a kid anymore. I don't have Tony. I don't have my Aunt May. It's my fault that some of this stuff happened. I gotta go fucking be a hero. That shit was sick, man. I loved it.
Absolutely. And we'll get into positives and negatives, of course, obviously, how we do it. Ashley, what are your first impressions?
Well, I feel like for me, I feel like a little bit redeemed with people because I was explaining. I know the story that they're trying to tell us, right? Yes, we spent a lot more time in his formative high school years, but I knew that we were getting the 6th film arc, right? And by the time we ended in Far From Home, that he wasn't so reliant on someone else, to look up to or to aspire to be. And then this time around, we get to see him, really go through pain. And he does have stakes in this film. And I did enjoy that. But for me, I felt like it was a good growth for his character because we see him at the beginning of his high school career all the way through. So, I mean, I can understand like some people didn't like a lot of the kiddie jokey stuff, but I felt like maybe in time, once we get through to that end of that story, that 6th film, then maybe people will understand the long game story that they were trying to tell.
But this is the thing, though. I didn't mind the jokey joke stuff because that's Spider-Man. Period. Like when he fighting a villain, he could be getting beat down, and he'd be like, "Oh, can you hit me a little lighter?" He'll say something like that.
I'm not talking about the quips or in the little back and forth. I'm talking about like the high school, like, "Oh, these are my friends. Here's Ned. Here's Betty. Here's my crazy teachers." Like a lot of that, and yes, it was kind of like a Spider-Man, and in this ode to like this 1980s kind of like teen flick, like 16 Candles and like that type of thing. And I enjoyed it, and it was different. And a lot of people didn't like it, but I enjoyed every film. And for me, I cried 4 times the first time I saw it, and then I did the second time, I cried. And then I saw it a third time in the theaters, and then I saw it on Onzo Vision, and another time. So I've now seen this movie like 7 times. I've seen it 7 times. So I really enjoyed it. So my initial reactions was like, I liked how they integrated Tobey and Andrew into the film, because I was worried at first that we've got too many things going on in this story, that where is Tom Holland's Peter Parker going to end up in this? And I agree with you all. I feel like Tom Holland shined a lot, and you could tell the growth in the character. I really enjoyed seeing Green Goblin again. I love, even though people don't like the Peter tingle, but the Peter Tingle looks so cool in this movie. I feel like it's the best, spider, sense scene that we got. And it was like real cool, like when the whole room and he can feel like I thought that was amazing. And Aunt May like also dying. I really felt like that. Now he has lost everyone. He has no parents. He doesn't have Uncle Ben. He doesn't have his Aunt May, and he is completely now alone. And even everything that he's built up in his life, his connection with the Avengers and all of that. And it's all, started with the things that Mysterio did. And so I think that Mysterio and Green Goblin really set the tone for this Peter Parker moving forward.
But Absolutely. See, I like what you said, though, because now since he doesn't have anybody, it's time for you to stop being a boy like these past movies and start being a man hero like you're supposed to be. And don't depend on nobody and stand on your own and fight.
And I think that, I think that we started to see that at the end of Far From Home when he's there with Mysterio and he's like, you can't trick me anymore. Like, or when he realizes, Tony wasn't perfect. Tony couldn't even live up to Tony. So those seeds were already started, planted in Far From Home. And then to see that the end result here, the payoff to me was phenomenal. So
I think we could have got some colder Tom Holland movies before if we would have got all that in the first movie. Like you go through the arc of needing a mentor, but then you in the same movie, after you learn what you learn, you start being on your own and be your own hero. Because I think that's the only beef people got with Tom Holland is that he was Iron Man Jr. That's the only beef they had.
And I think that if you don't look deeper at it, on the surface level, that's what you see. You don't in the story he needed yes, a lot of people don't like the approach that he went with, that we didn't see Uncle Ben here, right? That we saw a mentor in Tony Stark, in Iron Man, and that connection between the two of them. But it was also that when you think about it, he's not arrogant. He didn't grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. But when it comes to their intellect and how they're both extremely intelligent, I felt like it was a good fit for the two of them. We see it in the first film.
Too. And that's dope. That's dope what you just said, because now that you said that, everything that we loved about Peter Parker Spider-Man was in this movie, like his intelligence. When he was fighting Doctor Strange, when Doctor Strange had him in that mirror universe, he said, well, hold on, all this is a
geometry.
This all it is geometry. That was dope to use his Peter Parker intelligence in the fight scene. They never showed that in a Spider-Man movie before.
I think that you see hints of, like when he's like in Far From Home, when he's having that moment when Mysterio is lying to him and he's like talking about the multiverse and the concept of the multiverse. You see his intelligence even in that moment. And Mysterio says, don't apologize for being the smartest person in the room. So I feel like you see his genius throughout the course of these films. And I like that everything wasn't rushed. Like he didn't go from high school to college. Yes, maybe. And I think that if you think about how the MCU is set up, I wouldn't expect them to do anything any other way, because it's always a build to the next thing, right? That's why why we're so invested into these films, because these characters grow over time. Like look at where Tony started to where he in, where Kat began and where he in. They completely evolve to like full round, completely developed characters, and that's why I enjoy it so much.
But my only problem with that is like this movie proves that we didn't need all three of these movies plus his 2 or 3 other appearances to get there. They did it in one movie.
They did it. That's what I'm saying. They did it in one movie.
Right. Like they could have done it before.
I appreciate. You don't need it, but I think it works better.
But check this out.
Peter Parker,
like my boy said, Phil Melita said, in one film, we took Tom Holland the boy to Tom Holland the man. So just think if they would have did that with Homecoming, we could have got some way more doper movies.
So we're gonna grow a 14-year-old boy up in one film, and that would be believable.
Yeah,
I mean, all of the character development that he really went through happened in this movie, right?
No. He
Look at
he
Iron
learns
Man
a lesson
1.
in
He was a
Homecoming. He
playboy.
learns a lesson in Far From Home.
Break it down for me,
And
Ash.
then the overall lessons are then combined to now that he can stand completely on his own, right? He has to, because now he is ready for that next chapter. So for me, I think it's very important, the growth of the character. Yeah, you can get all of that in one film, but I don't think the emotional weight, for me anyway, means the same for Tom Holland and this Peter Parker.
You have a great point, a very great point. But I want to tell you this. Let's excuse Far From Home. Homecoming. We seen it in Civil War. We saw it in Infinity War. We saw it in Endgame. How many times did we need
We did
to
not
see
see
him
that
grow?
in Civil War. We saw him eager to impress because he wanted to be an Avenger, right? And then
But
in
he was a
Homecoming, what
sidekick
does he
character.
realize? And in Homecoming, he realizes, I don't need to be an Avenger yet. Like, I'm not ready for that. I still kind of want to be a kid and just be a neighborhood Spider-Man. And then in Infinity War, he feels that sense of duty when he sees this great spaceship in the sky and he wants to save and protect people. And then he goes off in Infinity War and he's snapped away for 5 years, and he thinks his whole life,
Mr. Stark.
his whole life is like he thinks he's lost 5 years of his life.
But
So after that experience with Thanos, he wanted to be a kid again, right?
This one line killed it.
The growing pains of a child is you don't learn a lesson like that. And that would be that's not realistic.
But this one
and I
line
think that
killed
makes
it.
him more of a real character.
Hold on, go ahead. Go ahead.
This one line killed it though. Mr. Stark, I don't want to die.
He did want to die.
They killed it. That's
what I'm saying. He snapped away. He comes back in Far From Home and he says, forget all of this. I want to be a kid. I want to go here. I want to hang out with my friends and I want to try to have a normal life. Because I thought that I'd lost. I thought that half of my friends went on without me during that 5 years of time. When he goes back in that high school at the end of Endgame, you see the nervousness and the panic on his face, and then the relief once he sees Ned, because in his mind, he doesn't know if Ned has moved on without him or if his friends are still going to be there. And once he gets that back, one lesson that is small and a lot of people don't like is that he learns from Homecoming that appreciate my friends and the people around me and don't get so caught up in the Spider-Man parts of who he is. And so that is the beat that they do in the film.
I just wanted to quickly say to Mads Mulliver's comment, I disagree with that. Because the first Raimi movie, he loses Uncle Ben, his friendship with Harry gets fucked up.
Yep.
Okay, and he has to tell MJ basically, I can't tell you the truth about who I am, and I have to live with it. And all of it resonated.
And a lot of it for me feels silly and rushed.
And I'll say this.
And Raimi Spider-Man, because you're putting so much, cramming it all into one film. And I don't feel the same emotional weight when he says bye to MJ. You know, this girl that at first she was just this awkward girl, and then they had a thing, and then they're in a relationship, and now she loves him. And now
the girl
she has
he's
to say
been
goodbye.
pining for since he was a child, who finally tells him she loves him too, and he can't say it back to her.
Because he doesn't want to say it in that moment until he knows that she's going to remember him saying it for the first time. Because once that spell is gone, she has no memory of him. She has no recollection of the first time that he tells her that he loves her. That's why Peter Parker doesn't tell MJ before the spell.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Raimi movie. Sorry, I got confused.
And the one thing I will say to Ashley's point, I understand what you guys are saying. I do think it probably could have been done in one or two movies, but Marvel has a way of making their characters progress over movies, not just one movie. They all have progressed and got better over.
That's true. But I will say this, Enzo. Okay, look at Captain America. Look at this trilogy. The first trilogy was him becoming Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
The second movie, him discovering that his best friend in the whole wide world is still alive. Mm-hmm. The third movie is trying to protect because these other people are trying to kill. Each movie had a point and hit hard. Now, can you tell me the 2 points of Homecoming and No Way Home?
Homecoming, I can. Homecoming is in an essence, it's slightly an origin story, even though he had been bit for 7 years, and it was him still trying to impress and feel like that he, without that suit of armor in his own way, that he is nothing. He's not Spider-Man. He doesn't have enough faith in himself to be that character. By the time we get to Far From Home, what is his goal there? Right? He almost wasn't at his academic meet, right? He missed times with his friends, parties, and hanging out. And yes, in the beginning of Far From Home, yes, let me finish. Far From Home is about letting go of some of that and trying to have peace with the people that you love and you thought that you had lost, and dealing with growing into your own and not trying to live up to someone else's ideal and to step into someone else's shoes. That is the message of Far From Home. And what is the message of No Way Home? Then you take that to another step, right? You strip him down where he has nothing, right? He has absolutely nothing. Now he's completely on his own.
You want me to tell you what Far From Home was?
I'm telling you what
Vacation
Far-
Spider-Man movie.
It was. It was. He was on vacation. But why was he on vacation? It makes
Because
sense.
he wanted
and when
to
you
be a
ask
kid
me
again.
in the sequence of events, what each film was trying to show you, and that is what they're trying to show you there.
But that proved my
Whether
point.
maybe you don't like
Captain
it,
America already
point-
decided who he was gonna be at the end of the
yeah,
first
and
movie.
Cap is slightly self-righteous.
So he not gonna go back.
Let's be real there.
But Captain America already made up in his mind who he was in the first movie. It was no reason for him to go back and try to live his old life in the second movie.
He still learns a lesson.
What?
What is the
Yeah,
Why are
lesson?
you hating on my
he
boy
learns
Cap?
in
Ashley?
Winter Soldier?
I'm just using the trilogy as an example. We could do
But I'm saying,
Iron Man.
but there's still
I can show you where Iron Man did
and
the same
Iron
thing.
Man and like the progression of Iron Man, like I could completely break that down. They still learn things in each film, and they still change along the way, just like Tom Holland's Peter Parker does. Okay, maybe you don't like the execution of it. Maybe you don't like the way the story is laid out and the way they tell you, and maybe you don't buy into it. But there is a story and a beat for each one of these films.
And to be honest with you, right, Captain America, when he first started, he's all about country. He's doing his job. He's doing whatever Nick Fury and them tell him to do. But in the later movies, in Civil War, he realizes, like, no, this isn't the way to do things. And he's completely switches from being that government agent to doing what he thinks is right. Yeah.
But he never doubted being a hero the whole time, though.
But he did doubt. It's weird that he did doubt.
No, he doubted who he was working for, but he never did doubt of.
And what does he also say? And what about the conversation he has with Vision in Infinity War? He does learn a lesson, because what did he do in First Avenger? He sacrificed his life, right? And then in Infinity War, he says, you know, we don't. He's not. That's not what we're doing. We're not.
Nobody dies.
Anybody.
Yeah, we're not killing anybody. Mm-hmm.
So he still learns lessons. He learns lessons along the way. And at the end of Endgame, he learns a powerful lesson a lot of people don't like, is that I've done so much for everybody else. I want my own happiness, and I want to be with the person that I love. So he goes back in time, right? So he does change and grow and learn these lessons along the way. Just that maybe you bought in to Captain America's arc more than you do Tom Holland's.
All right.
We have to agree to disagree.
Let's get on to our positives for this movie. So, Fatal J, what were your positives for this movie?
I'm gonna tell you one thing that blew my mind in the movie. When he fought Green Goblin in the hotel, the movie got real serious. It was like, okay, this is a good movie. It still had that Far From Home vibe, that homecoming vibe. But when it got to that hotel scene, and when you seen those villains in there, this was the dope thing about it. The villains was going back and forth on whether they should be good or continue being evil. That was perfect. Then when you had Green Goblin go in there and start murking everybody and blowing everything up, I'm gonna tell you what that took me back to. It took me back to Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie. Remember when him and Spider-Man was fighting in that abandoned building, and he was beating the crap out of Spider-Man and blood was coming down? We had never seen that before in a superhero movie up to that point. And it just blew my mind how that same thing happened in this movie, where Green Goblin was killing people, blowing stuff up. It just looked bad for everybody. So that point right there in the movie really stood out to me out of everything in the movie.
I do want to address one thing, Onzo. Okay,
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
when we're talking about, because Walkard's comment is about how Doctor Strange could have made everybody forget about Thanos. The implications are still yet to come, right? We know that from all the things that Strange has done, right, with the events in Infinity War and all these different things, along with the things with the time variance, is what's going to erupt the multiverse. So there's implications for that spell, right? So it's not an easy fix at that point, all right? Because what does Wong even tell him, right? The implications of this
Not to
spell
mess
are
with time,
dangerous.
yeah.
So so yes, maybe you can go, it's easy, he could have done this, but in the context of the story that they explained to you, that obviously there's going to be, you know, a cause action because of this spell. So
Right.
there we go. So it does make
Right.
sense in the context of the story that they're trying to tell.
Anything else you liked, Fatal?
I just really like that scene. Jamie Foxx was a very good performance. I like how he added and I hate to say this, but I'm guessing we all black on the panel.
Yes.
He had his blackness, and usually the
Yeah.
blackness don't come out in a Marvel movie, but his
Mhm.
blackness was really showing, and that really stood out to me, and I really like that. And Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Now I was thinking these two was going to outshine Tom Holland.
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you what it really did. When they came together, it was like a best friend you haven't seen in years, but y'all always been thinking about each other. It seemed like they relationship, as soon as they met up and started talking about their problems and Spider-Man and this and that and how they could relate to it, that was beautiful, man. I couldn't even write something that on point like that, the way they came together and had a relationship. They were like they were brothers.
Yeah, I
the
liked
little
it.
the little
It was
bit
great.
that all three of them were together when they were planning the battle and stuff was like the best part of the movie for me.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, it didn't seem out of place. It seemed perfect. Like it just they came together.
To each Spider-Man too, like the way they wrote them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it was almost like if Tom Holland could just call him up and they could be
Yeah.
like his backup or something, man. Whoever wrote this movie, they was on point, man.
I hope
I
they do
agree,
it
sure.
again.
And isn't it the
Yeah,
same
like a
person that
Spider-Verse
wrote?
movie.
Isn't it the same person that wrote the first two movies as well too?
That's what blew my mind because they said the same director did this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking it
Yeah.
up right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Oh, same director, not writer. Or
Not
same
yeah.
writer.
Well, I know. Yeah, he did. John Watts. He directed Homecoming, Far From Home, and he directed No Way Home, and he's going to direct the Fantastic Four.
It's
Cool.
the same exact guys that wrote Far From Home, which is fucking unbelievable to me.
That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
But the same thing happened to Logan. The same person that made the second
Oh,
Wolverine
right,
movie
James Mangold.
made
Yeah.
Logan, and I'm like, how did you progress this far?
Mhm.
Was you on
What-
drugs when you wrote
Well, you
this
know,
script?
maybe it's not that. Like, if for those of us that don't like Far From Home, maybe it's not the director and the writer's fault. Maybe that was Disney being like, "This is what you got to do in this movie."
Right.
A lot
Yeah.
of that come into play. Now, y'all know I'm gonna mention my boy up, Zack Snyder. That's what happened in Batman versus Superman. That's what
Oh,
happened,
God.
man. The reason why that movie ended the way it was because Warner said put Doomsday in this movie, and it messed
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole thing up.
Yeah.
It happened to Raimi on Spider-Man 3 too with Venom.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely. So, what about you, Film? What are your positives, man? Go ahead.
Positives was that when Toby and Andrew were in the movie, I thought they were great. I didn't have any problems with the way they were written, the things they said. I thought they might make it kind of MCU-ish, but they didn't. It seemed organic to who they were. Like when Toby said, "Oh, you're the Avengers. That's great. What is that?" That was awesome, man.
Mhm.
When he
Mhm.
saw Doc Ock and he was like trying to do better, that made me cry a little bit. Yeah, the action was fantastic. The final fight sequence was great. Tom Holland was awesome in this movie. I thought it was shot really well. The scene where he was looking into the, the sky, the city, and he was seeing J. Jonah Jameson on the building, and he was crying, and it was raining, and he was all beat up and shit. I was like, oh man, Holland's going through it right now, bro. And I love that shit, man. That was great. There were a lot of positives, more positives than negatives for sure. I thought the music was good. I thought the acting was good. You know, even Jamie Foxx, like he was saying, did a much better job in this one.
Facts.
So yeah, man, I thought everybody brung it
Yes.
on this one.
I'm the only
Everybody brung
person
it.
in the world though that like Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man. The
Oh,
only
no,
I
thing,
liked him too.
I didn't. I
I
did
liked
the
him
not.
only
I did
too.
thing,
not either.
He
the
he was
only thing
overacting. Like if he would have done the nerd thing, and it was like Revenge of the Nerds. Like that's one of my mom's favorite movies, and I've seen that as a
that's
kid.
my favorite movie too.
So I
One of
feel
my favorite
like I felt like it was like channeling like this weird like nerdy guy. It just didn't fit with the tone
Well,
of the film.
can I
Like
say I like when he becomes Electro and not the
I
nerdy
don't
Yeah,
like
that's
him
what I
being,
like.
but I don't like the blue. I don't like him being blue though.
I got you.
I don't
got you.
I don't like the blue. I don't like that. I didn't like that. I just
What about the gap
I-
tooth that got fixed when the eels shocked him? That was
That's
pretty
the part
tight,
I
right?
was trying
that
to
was
say.
that was oh my god.
That was hot, man. That was good shit.
That was dope how he used Tony Stark's what they call it, the
Arc
reactor.
reactor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was tight. I like that.
So first, this is for you, Ash. K-Dot said Tom Holland Spider-Man still trash, Ashley.
Yeah, check out that clip on Twitter. He loves Tom Holland. Don't get it twisted.
This one's for you, Fatal J, from Danny. He said, "You know why, Fatal? You can't write it that good because you're an MCU hater up here acting like you impressed." Phantom Zone.
No, I'm not, man. Ever since I posted this thing where I showed DCEU movies,
Mhm.
the animated movies, and I showed the MCU movies, and the MCU copied those animated movies. And ever since then, I've been labeled a hater. I'm not a hater. I do like
you
I like DC.
Fatal.
I do like
Cat.
DC. I like the characters way more than Marvel, but
See, I'm
I
a
like the
Marvel.
Marvel movies better than the DC movies. I've always said
Okay,
that.
there you
But
go.
the characters, you can't tell me Batman and Superman are not more dope than the Marvel characters. Let's just keep it real.
More
For me,
recognizable.
I don't
I'll
like
give you
I don't
Batman.
like Superman really. So
Me neither.
If
I've
you can
never
pick
been
your favorite
connected.
superhero and you ask around the world, most
Yeah.
people gonna say what? Superman or
Well,
Batman?
recognizable.
Because they're
But I
most
don't know if they're as
recognizable. When you
beloved
come to
anymore.
the top three, it's Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. They're the most
That's
recognizable.
it.
Yeah.
And
But for
maybe
me,
Wolverine for fourth.
Yeah.
I read Marvel comics growing up, so I'm more attached
Yep.
to the Marvel characters. And just I don't know. I mean,
me too.
Superman has never been. I've never been like big on Superman.
Superman's
Like,
corny, bro.
that.
Superman is
I
corny,
love
dude.
Batman. I love the Bat family.
Superman never changed from what he was
Listen.
in the 1930s, dude. He's still a 1930s hero.
But
I don't
people
want to
got
hear.
mad when Zach tried to switch him up.
I understand.
When
Mhm.
Zach tried to give him some style and flavor, then Zack Snyder is the best.
I didn't hate Man of Steel though. I'm one of the people that
I don't
didn't hate
I
that
don't
movie.
hate Man of Steel either. I just have
Yeah.
a few issues with it.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Paul
It's not
Kent
like
and the
my.
tornado.
I mean,
Yeah,
how many times you can say cats from trees, bro? You got to switch it up sometime.
Right.
You know?
right.
I had a few issues, but like to be consistent, to me, it's overall like when I remember I did a ranking and it was like of the DCU films, and I have it number one. Like I did a collab with someone, and when we ranked them, I had that number one on my list.
Because pound
For
for
the
pound, if
DCU.
you look at Batman villains, those are the dopest villains in comic book superhero history.
Yeah,
bro.
Spider-Man and Batman have the best road galleries.
They do. They do.
Fuck you,
Catwoman,
nerd man.
He wants the link. He can come in for the last 30
Oh,
minutes or
fuck
so.
off,
whatever we
dude.
do.
I don't want to hear a goddamn Superman.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear Nerd Man because he's talking shit. So we're gonna wreck him.
All right.
K-Dot sent a $2 super chat. He said, "Andrew and Toby, the best MCU Spider-Mans." Ashley, you
No.
just trying to get on Ashley's case
See,
today.
the thing
eh?
is, like, Toby, good Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
He has the best
Ant-
movies though, actually.
No, he doesn't.
do.
No, he doesn't. These
Toby
are the
does.
days.
Toby.
I will
Yes.
say it again for the people in the back. These are the
Oh, here we go.
days of my Spider-Man. Okay, it
Oh,
was
come
so
on.
soap opera and cheesy. It doesn't age well.
Okay, and
You
Tom
know, I
Holland's is
get it.
Saved by
I
the
like
Bell.
the
Tom
Bullshit,
Holland's is
dude.
Hold
Saved
on,
by
hold
the
on,
I
guys.
Bell.
like
Hold on,
the
guys.
movies.
Hold on, guys.
No,
Relax.
no,
Hold on a
no,
second. Let me
no.
get to these
It's like-
super chats.
He
real
said,
quick.
relax.
Yeah, let me get to super chats real quick, then you guys can continue. Wolverine WRG sent $5. Thank you very much. He said Andrew Garfield was amazing, and the part he said bitter, and he let the rage get to him. and he was quit pulling his punches was emotional. He had me. That was a great scene. I agree with that.
Moment.
But I still liked Toby better. K. $5 super chat. He said, "I love that Toby,
He's
the
really
greatest.
doing it.
Andrew is just so amazing, and Tom just the gutter. Hawkeye finale was better than anything Tom
Oh
Holland."
my god, dude.
Okay,
come
that
on.
no.
I don't know what
okay,
he's. I haven't
Straight
even seen
trolling.
yeah.
Okay.
What up,
Yeah,
man?
he
How
is.
you doing?
I'm very good, Onzo, man. How are you doing?
Doing
Glad
good.
to be here
Here
on this
comes the hate
panel
watcher.
with.
Hey, Nerdman, quickly, can I say
Wait a
something back to
second.
Ashley
Wait
real
a second. No. Well, all right, but
Yeah.
I've got a bone to pick with you about something you just said.
I know.
Anyway,
go ahead, Phil.
Ashley, it's cool
Yes.
if you want to say the Raimi movies were soap operas, but the first two Tom Holland movies, then you have to be consistent. We're Saved by the Bell, then.
No, I say they're an ode to 1980s
Okay.
teen films. Okay,
I'm not gonna get it.
All right, it's not Saved by the Bell. The last episode of Hawkeye is Saved by the Bell, not the same. Sorry.
Hey, don't ruin it for me, please.
I'm not
No,
going to
but
say anything. That's all I'm going to say.
I laugh because when he said "Saved by the Bell," I could see the resemblance. I'm not.
I
even
watched
gonna
that,
lie.
lad. I
see
watched
it.
that with my wife the other day.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Bro,
I'm
that's
just saying.
That's cheesy.
I'm
Right.
just saying.
It's
I'm just
not
saying.
that
If those
cheesy.
if those are the tone of those Raimi movies, and we have to be honest, those first two Holland movies are kind of Saved by the Bell.
No, they're not. I'm telling
Okay.
you what type of films they remind me of, like 16
And-
Candles, Ferris Bueller, like those type
Like-
of like
Ferris
stylizing
Bueller.
of that.
Jesus.
I
You
actually
know?
can see
Oh.
that though. I
You're
can see
trying
that.
to
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I
gas,
see.
you're
I see what
trying
you're
to gas
saying.
it up a little bit too much.
I'm
on
not
me,
okay,
Ferris Bueller.
okay, Nerdman. Did I say it was on Ferris Bueller's level, or did I say it was in the styling of a
What up,
film,
David?
dude?
Well,
Like-
then,
Inspired.
then you could
Chill
just
out.
say that when he says it's like Saved by the Bell. I mean, then
No, that's a
he's
totally
right, isn't
that's
he?
a
Because there's
totally
like
different. No, that's
John
not
Hughes.
the same. Thank
it's
you.
the
John
same
Hughes.
kind of John
Thank
Hughes
you,
kind of thing,
Yellow.
isn't it?
That's that
No,
John
it's
Hughes vibe.
not.
I can see that. I can see that.
So first off,
It's
Danny
not the
said,
same.
Goku
And think
John
about it,
Hughes is
Tony
not Saved by
Stark.
the Bell.
Robert Downey Jr. come from the John Hughes era.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
What Superman comics have you read, Film Elitist, that he hasn't changed since the 1930s?
Oh,
I mean,
what
I mean,
Have
okay.
have you read like
Red Sun and fucking
Oh, you've read Red Sun. Good.
yeah,
Okay.
That's,
When he's a
Tower of
communist.
Babel and all that shit, or whatever the one where
That's
Tower of
Elseworld, though.
Babel. Okay.
So
Yeah,
so let
I
me
mean,
get to
And,
this.
and what about American Alien?
Hold on, I think
Birthright?
Onzo-
Yeah, hold on there, man.
Yeah,
Let me
go
get
on,
this
dude.
real quick because we were talking about it. So Yellow sent this to me, and this is the best superheroes, like the highest ranking superheroes or most popular superheroes around the world. Spider-Man is
Thank
number
you.
1, Wonder Woman's number 2, Batman's 3, Iron Man's 4,
How to
Now,
Superman's
Wonder
5,
oh,
Captain
yeah, this is-
America,
yeah.
Aquaman, Hulk, Wanda Maximoff, and Groot.
This seems
That's
like
because of the
it's
movies.
accurate to today, right? Yeah, exactly. Actually,
Yes,
'cause, like,
yeah, as today, yeah.
people that were
Yeah.
around reading Superman comics 50 years ago are starting to die. No offense to RIP to those people, but that's just how life works.
Right.
You know, the younger people, they're going out and watching these movies, learning who the Guardians are, learning who Wanda is. Getting
Yeah,
educated.
basically, what you're saying is that popularity is based on what, how these superheroes are appearing in the media. It's not about whether Superman is good as an overall character in the comics. It's whether he's been presented well in media.
Well, we are talking
specifically
about movies,
film,
so yeah. I'm not
right?
saying the comics. Yeah, I'm not saying
Okay,
the comics.
so saying he hasn't changed since the 1930s is
In the
complete
movies,
nonsense.
other than Zack Snyder. That's the truth.
So, other than Zack Snyder, he hasn't changed in the movies, but
Right.
he's only had like 2 versions of him apart from Zack Snyder. There's been basically one
and
where
television too.
in the movies.
Yeah, television
forget
too. That's
television.
No.
Yeah.
In television, he's constantly changed. I mean, you can't
What?
like
He's
Lois
still
Clark
the
is
same
different.
character in Smallville.
In Smallville, he's the same character as
Essentially,
Christopher
yes.
Reeves.
Essentially.
How? Did you watch Smallville?
I
Okay,
did. I
so-
watched every
A few
goddamn episode of that
times.
piece of shit,
Yes.
dude.
We got
Yeah, I
32
don't.
people
I don't
watching.
I don't rep for fucking Smallville, but I'm
Hold
saying
on,
it's
hold
not
on,
the
guys.
same fucking character.
Hold on,
as
guys.
bloody Christopher
Spider-Man.
Reeve.
Apple
Spider-Man.
pie and ice
Spider-Man,
cream. Yes, he was
Spider-Man.
still apple pie and
Spider-Man.
ice cream. Yes.
Thank
This
you,
is
Ashley.
I
Spider-Man
love the way.
3.
I love the way you guys like Spider-Man, when basically Spider-Man just jacked fucking Superman
are talking
and Batman style.
This is
We
What
are
did he?
talking
His
Spider-Man.
Did
origin and
no,
character
no,
is
no.
basically a mix between
No.
fucking
What is
Superman
the
and
ideal of
Spider-Man. What's his
Spider-Man
job?
is that
Where does he
anybody
work?
could be under the mask.
Thank you,
okay?
Ashley.
Okay,
That is the
what's his job? Where does he
idea.
work? What's his
What?
job? Where does he work? What's his job?
He's a photographer.
Oh, he's a photographer for what? What kind of institution is he?
A newspaper.
A newspaper.
Oh, and what was Superman?
A
A
reporter.
journalist for
Oh,
a
he was a
newspaper?
journalist for a newspaper.
journalist.
Okay,
Was,
and what
was
about
Superman
Perry
a
and White?
nerd? Was Superman a nerdy
Does J.
child?
Jonah Jameson remind you of anyone? Maybe character anywhere?
I can't
J.
say
Jonah
because I
Jameson?
don't know enough about
Does he
Superman.
remind you of a
Fatal
certain Perry
J?
White
Okay.
there?
Anyways, yeah.
Doesn't-
Answer
And
that.
what
Fatal
about
J.
that? What about that death of Uncle Ben? What does that remind you of? Certain Dark Knight from Gotham, right? How his parents died?
Okay, just like
It's a
the New
fucking mix
Gods
between
is a rip
Superman
off of the
and Batman.
Eternals. What are you saying right now?
Dude, this is dog
Rip-off.
Hold on.
shit.
Yeah, hold on.
You
hold on.
fucking
Stop.
Alright.
The New
We are
Gods is
going
a rip off
to
of the
Spider-Man.
Eternals. So come on.
We are going to
You're
Spider-Man
full of
because we
shit.
don't have that much time left. You guys want to have this conversation another time? Not a problem.
Yes.
K-Dot said $2 super chat, and he's just on you, Ashley. He said,
Yeah.
the Three Stooges better actors than Tom Holland.
Ain't nobody like I love you,
That's
brother.
fact.
God, gosh, oh my
That's
gosh.
fact.
But
right there.
but he did put
Yeah.
Tom Holland.
And Gal
so I don't know
Gadot
who
is a
Tom.
great actress.
I don't know who Tom is. I don't know
Oh,
who
God.
Tom is. So now let's get back. Nerdman, I asked there what are their positives of this movie. So I'm gonna let you give your positives, and then we can go to our negatives. Because
So we can just skip him then,
right?
right? Because he doesn't have any.
I'm pretty sure he has one or two.
Oh, I have some positives.
All right.
I think the level of I like the beginning of the movie. I think the way they set it up was quite good. I like the way Spider-Man kind of beat Doctor Strange, even though it seemed like impossible for him to do so, and he used the whole geometry thing. And that was logical for, to take Doctor Strange out of it, because obviously if Doctor Strange is there, he's going to beat the villain. I thought the villains did a better job of presenting how they were in those original franchises than, say, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. So they did a really good job of really capturing the spirit of their original franchises. I like that. I think Doc Ock and the Green Goblin were really good. I also think they improved on Jamie Foxx's character. Apart from that, I do think it's pretty generic in terms of its storytelling and other things. But those are my positives, mainly.
All right.
Oh, and Tom Holland was pretty good in places. He was decent in places.
In places. Okay.
Oh wow,
So-
B-Diet.
All right. So now we can get into the juicy stuff. What we think of. Well, let me get into my positives. I think William Dafoe actually crushed it. I thought he was so good in this movie. Tom Holland put it down when he was crying when Aunt May died and stuff. I was like, yo, I could feel that pain, And even when they're on the top of the Statue of Liberty and all three of them are together and they're talking about Andrew says he lost Gwen, Tom says he lost Uncle Ben, and we've always had a question in this one. Why they never said anything about Uncle Ben? Because it wasn't about Uncle Ben. It was about Aunt May.
Exactly.
I don't remember if they said Uncle Ben existed in this universe, but I don't ever remember his name. So I'm like, maybe he didn't
I don't think he
exist.
does, Anzo.
He does.
Well, why
There's
isn't
a
his
few things.
tombstone next to
The
hers?
suitcase. Have you not seen the picture where it's right beside his? Right
Why
No,
didn't it
is
show
it?
in the movie? It didn't show in the
there's
movie though.
Yeah, the image. His says he died in 2010, I believe. I can't remember the year, but it's there.
Okay, so he died.
There is an
right?
image.
So,
The image is
Well, that
there.
makes me happy. I'm glad that you pointed that out.
The
Ashley.
suitcase. I
Oh, I
seen
know.
the film so many times and paused it, and
So okay, so Tom didn't have a relationship with Uncle Ben. That's fine. But when Aunt May said the words, with great power comes great responsibility, right before she died, and then when he was about to say it, and the Spider-Man's Andrew said it or Tom said it, and he's like, "How did you know that?" That shit was fire, man. That whole scene was great. there's a lot of positives in this movie for me. Even in the beginning, right? I'm watching this movie and I'm like, yo, if these guys don't show up, if Tom and Andrew don't show up, this movie is still fire, because I was all into it from start to end, you know, and I just thought bringing them into it added more to the movie, and they did not outshine Tom. It was a perfect amount for them to be in the movie, not to outshine him. And
Yeah,
I
they
love
wasn't
that
in it
about them.
long, bro.
Right.
I can't deal with this. Yellow is in the comments chatting his fucking bullshit about Superman again. Sorry, just very quickly. I know he loves Into the Spider-Verse, and it is a damn good movie. But let's be fucking honest. The Superman animated movies, like from the DC animated movie, thing,
You
they're
always
better
take
than
it.
that movie. They're
No,
better
Into the
than fucking Into the
no.
Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes,
is
they are.
amazing.
Superman vs. the
No.
Elite is better than fucking that movie.
Visually it looks better. Okay,
I'm right with
the
you. That
animation
Spider-Verse is
looks
dope.
better. Like
Mhm.
everything, the voice acting, everything is better and bigger on a
Hey,
different scale.
Spider-Verse
The story,
is dope,
Let
but
me finish,
Superman vs. the
Nerdman.
Elite is
Let me finish
hold
my
on, let him
statement.
All-Star Superman
Let
are
me
better.
finish. Let me finish. Is the tone more serious in nature? Yes. But the overall, the animation, the voice acting, all of it, all right, it's
fire.
better. You cannot tell me that.
Yeah, but that's because it's a fucking cinematic fucking movie. That's completely
wow.
different.
But-
So yeah, okay,
okay,
they've got the
Okay,
animation is
but
better.
you
but
brought
the
it up.
story,
So if you
the
want to die
story
on
of
this hill, then
All-Star
you can
Superman,
die on
the
the hill.
story,
But
These two
the
need their own stream.
animation
Oh,
and the
facts.
voice
the
acting
story,
is very,
the story
very
of the
important.
Superman
It's
fucking
part
movies
of
in
the
those
whole
Hello.
picture when it comes to an animated film. You cannot discard part of it. Okay, you brought it up. So
Okay,
die on
so
the hill.
Flashpoint is not better than fucking
Nerdman.
Into the Spider-Verse
Nerdman.
as a story.
Nerdman.
We gotta go
Nerdman.
back to Spider-Man, bro.
No more
Yeah, exactly.
Superman right now.
And he'll
Let's get
catch
it.
me up in it. I'm sorry, Onzo.
It's okay, that's fine. I know Nerdman has that effect on people because he can't stand what Yellow was saying in the fucking chat, so he got to
I know.
mention
I'm
it. But
trying not to
Yellow,
look at it because I seen a
Yellow
few
is
comments I
not
wanted to
on the
react
panel.
to, but I didn't.
Let's just deal with the people on the panel. Yellow's in the chat, all right? You can deal with him after. So I want to get to the negatives. Fado, what were your negatives of this movie?
I'm gonna be honest with you. My only negative about this movie, and maybe it was just me, but that CGI, some of that CGI wasn't on point. Like when he was on the highway. Remember the highway scene when he was trying to chase the woman down to get into college? That CGI was rough. And then the CGI when he was in the forest. And remember, he was getting ready to meet up with he didn't know he would meet up with Electro. But when he met up with Electro, before those scenes, that CGI was rough, man.
Yeah.
That looked like some straight PS3, PS4 graphics.
Yes, it
what
does.
I seen.
Amen.
But besides that, man, I can't really pinpoint some negatives except that them 2 points right there, that CGI was I don't know what they were thinking on that. And I don't know, maybe with me, when they made a nighttime scene, maybe they were trying to hide it. Maybe they rushed that scene, but it was bad, bro. It was bad CGI.
And another thing, I'm sorry, Onzo. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no,
Sorry.
I was just gonna say I watched it on Onzo Vision, so I have to wait till I get a really clean copy to be able to look at
I got you.
and say, okay, that was bad.
I mean, I gave you I found you that one.
How have you even reviewed the movie? If
No,
you've
the
only
copy
watched it
the
like
copy
that?
you gave me was really good. It's just that it's not like high definition,
Yeah, it's
4K,
not. It's
whatever.
not,
So
yeah.
you won't. Most of the CGI looks the same, but yeah. So
Like
I
the
can't
blue
really
Is
There's
it not out in
also at
cinemas
times
where you are?
I can't go. I'm not vaccinated, and they just closed our cinemas down again. So
Canada don't play.
No, we're not playing. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to bring up the CGI because I remember when I saw the trailers and I was like, this looks very sloppy and rushed. You could tell that pandemic effects and people working from home and them rushing certain things. You could the CGI was very rough and sloppy at times. And even at times, you could tell that Tobey Maguire was on a green screen because he had this weird blue hue around him at times. So sometimes things looked strange. And then maybe small nitpicks for me. I didn't like when they're in the Sanctum, and he's like, well, Scooby-Doo that shit. I'm glad he didn't say crap in the movie, but I didn't like that, and I don't like the fact that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme, and I don't like, oh, well, because I was snapped for 5 years, he's the guy. It's like, I don't like that. For me, it's
but
just,
doesn't that make sense though? Because they need a Sorcerer Supreme when he's not there.
Yeah,
makes more sense than Ned being magic.
And I explained that to you about the soul singularity, and he's not truly magic, right? He's not truly magic. It's the soul singularity.
But
right?
Nana said he was though.
Nana is, she believes in spirits and witches, and she believes that he's, has greatness within inside of him. But
and
it
when
was
Dr.
really
Strange
about
looked
the
at
soul
him
singularity.
And was like, oh,
I think
that's
that he will. I think
he
might be on the way to be a sorcerer, but technically,
oh,
no,
God,
right now he's not.
I
don't, because I don't mind. I don't dislike Ned. Like, I like that he's kind of a bumbling, goofy goofball, but hyper.
They said they're gonna make him Hobgoblin.
That's what I heard.
Magic Hobgoblin.
I don't think they're gonna do. I think that now.
But is he gonna have to drop that weight to be Hobgoblin? Though?
He has lost weight, so.
He has.
Oh my gosh. I was on life support. Please, thank you. The man, the myth, the legend.
Okay, now we can't criticize.
I don't even have to speak now, guys. I don't have to say anything.
Because if we criticize this, we're hateful.
Yeah, I'm just not even gonna.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not even gonna try.
Oh yeah. So, Mike, Ashley, are you done with your negatives?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mike, we did positives of this and we did negatives. So, give me your positives first, and then your negatives.
Of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
The positives was essentially it was similar to Endgame for the Spider-Man universe, a universe in which I hate at least close to 2/3 of. I mean, I like Andrew, but the movies were lacking, and it summed it up basically in a satisfying conclusion. There were some things that were fan service, but what I don't understand is that when Marvel doesn't do things the way fans want them to, they bitch and moan about them not being done the way they want them to. And then when they listen to the fans and then they decide to course correct and change things or whatever, then they're complaining that they're doing fan service. So you guys can't have it both ways. You got to pick a lane, one lane or the other, I enjoyed seeing Tom's performance was really good. Andrew's, for me, was probably actually no. They were both on the same. And I'm going to say this, and I'm only going to say this in this stream. And if anybody attempts to call me on it in other streams, I'm going to disavow it. But Toby wasn't even annoying to me in this movie. I mean, granted, he was still the lesser of the three, but I was not. I didn't really want to punch his face in this one. I was like, okay, I'll let it slide. But yeah, I liked the Willem Dafoe gave an incredible performance. So did Alfred Molina. I enjoyed seeing them again. I felt sorry for the lizard because like nobody really cared. Like when they cured him, it was just like, oh, isn't that nice? Yeah. Whoever that is, like nobody.
The guy playing him didn't even get to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
What happened to Vulture though? Where was Vulture at?
He's in Morbius.
I think he's in jail.
Yeah, he's hanging out with Morbius.
Well, I think he's out of I don't like, but that's a whole other thing. Like those movies are weird. Like what universe do you exist in? Because you seem like you exist in both.
Right.
You can chalk that up to Sony, right?
Yeah. Now, you know what? Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. I do have another a negative. The Venom.
Oh, I liked that was Kevin Feige. That was Suge Feige.
That didn't make sense though.
But it's Suge Feige. He brings him in.
He was in the
just so he can get the Venom symbiote, so he can have his own Venom in the MCU because he doesn't want that.
Which will probably be Matt Gargan, right?
But peep this, it didn't make sense. Watch this. He was talking about he got blipped, right?
Mm-hmm. No. He was talking about he was like, so you're telling me that people got blipped and were gone for 5 years and you fought a purple alien? Like he was recounting the story.
Blipped. I thought he was saying he got blipped. Because I was like, how is you getting blipped? But then Dr. Strange do the spell again and you got taken back to the universe. How did that make sense?
I think
You
we
know
do need
what?
to address the Venom thing at some point
Yeah.
on this because I got some questions about that.
And that
too.
Venom thing was weak anyway.
It
It
was
wasn't even no
horrible.
point
It
in
was
seeing him
horrible.
because we want to see the
It was-
suit. We don't want to see you.
It
We
was
don't want to
all
see
about getting that symbiote.
Yeah, for
Anybody-
Secret Wars.
anybody
That's
can
what
hear
it's
the
about.
talking. Anybody can do the hey, this is Venom in the back. Anybody can do that. We want to see him sneaking up to Spider-Man's door or something like that. That was very weak to me. So that was my second pet peeve. And this dude right here, I don't know what type of mic you on, but it's on point. Please let me know later on what you use.
Which one?
My dude that just came in, his mic sound
Oh,
on
Mike.
point.
Mike. Yeah.
See,
Rogue
and his name
Comic.
is Mike, and his mic on point.
All right. Your
Sitting
negatives,
back
Mike.
in the dark.
Well, let me just say with
Oh,
K
go ahead.
Dots. K Dots, he said the issue is Venom that doesn't know Peter, but it's been established that the symbiotes have a hive mind.
Thank
So
you.
if there's one version of the symbiote that does know Peter is Spider-Man, it would stand to reason that all the symbiotes
all
know
know.
because yeah.
Mhm.
Sufficient.
But
That's a good
my-
explanation.
But
That
my
would be
question is, couldn't it have been something that happened in the Loki series when the timeline like broke apart? Maybe something then could have brought him in and then
Thanks
took
for
him
pointing.
out,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Because
possible.
that was one of my things. Because I'm like,
Yeah,
you don't-
but-
okay, if you
But
don't know who
Anzo,
is-
he
yeah.
disappears at the end when all the villains disappeared. So that means that the spell Doctor Strange did worked on him too.
Yeah, but we already know that Marvel likes to put their things out of context, so it doesn't necessarily mean that happened at the same time that Doctor
True.
Strange did the spell. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
Because for me, and I'll go to the Hawkeye thing real quick. I think that at the end of Black Widow, when we get that end credit scene, I think that is right after she gets hired by Kate's mom. And then that scene where they go to her and like, here, this is what you're saying. So I think that scene comes after, even though it came before the Hawkeye series, you know? So that's what I think. That's what I think they did with the end credit scene. But
And
I could
that's
be
just
wrong.
like when you bring up that point right there, because a lot of people didn't understand like Captain Marvel, like understanding where Tony Stark was. She goes, you remember at the end, she goes and she walks in and there's Black Widow and Cap, and they kind of give her a rundown. And then that's when she searches for Tony. So like a lot. So with those post-credit scenes, if you really pay attention to what's happening in them, and then, then you know where it fits in within the timeline.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Mike. Finish up. Then we'll get to Nerd Man.
As far as negative, the negative is that Marvel doesn't own fucking Spider-Man, because if they did, then I think all these little inconsistencies and doing the stuff with Venom just to get like they would be able to do it the way they wanted to do it. And I don't know if half the stuff that has happened that fans have responded negatively to that would have happened. It seems like every movie is like a push and a pull with like this whole thing about Iron Man. I wonder, and I've said this elsewhere, like when they were coming up with the agreement to do the the movies and whatever the business agreement is, I don't know. I heard that Marvel pays for the movie to be made, and then they make the first weekend
25%. They pay 25% now, and then they reap 25%. Where it was before they had no investment but reaped the 5% for it being in the MCU.
So I'm wondering if Sony was like, hey, we need somebody, like, can you get like Robert Downey Jr. or something, because we want this movie to pop or something.
Of
And
course
that's
they
where
did,
the Tony Stark of it came in, and
because they still own the merch rights, Mike.
Right.
No, the MCU owns the merch rights.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure it's Sony.
No. Marvel owns the movie. No, they own the live action rights.
That's
Disney owns the merchandise rights
and the
for
animation.
And the animation.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because it's they movies. I know Sony owned the character, but that makes sense that they own
the
like,
live
the
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I just want to say this real quick. This has nothing to do with Spider-Man. I will be 1 second. Please, if you're watching this, if you're watching me right now, please don't watch Matrix Resurrection.
I liked it. Okay, I debated.
You like that?
Ashley,
I
what?
thought it was okay.
Yeah, it
I
was a
hate
weird
it.
movie.
I
I
didn't
like
hate
the
it.
beginning.
Ashley, I'm worried about you.
Hold on.
I
hold
like.
on.
I
I
like
mean,
the beginning.
I
though.
like the
One
fact that it
second.
was like. I think that
Ashley,
what people don't
give me 1
understand
second.
about the one. Okay, I'll tell you. But like, I
Ashley,
think
just
it's
give me 1
bigger
second
than that.
because this movie was. Just give me 1 second. This how the movie was. Just my review. Trash.
I thought it was gonna be trash. I really thought I was gonna hate it, but I didn't hate it.
You know how
Hey.
Bruce Lee do and he beat somebody. Ah,
It's not great.
trash.
It's
Hey,
good
listen.
though.
Hey, listen. LDG has been clamoring for that movie since he heard they were making it. When he
Bro.
told me it was trash, I'm like, okay, it's probably trash.
I don't
It's
even
not
know
that
why
bad.
Keanu Reeves did that to himself, bro. that put a notch on his legacy. Like that's gonna
I think
scar him,
that
bro.
what they're gonna do in the second one, and here's my thing:
A
is that I
second
think
one,
that if they do it, it's like the two of them together are
bro.
what makes
They made
the one.
They made her the one.
No,
They made-
he only says she might be. I think that it's the two of them together because they.
Oh,
way
they
they're
did
talking about
that?
trying
They
to keep
did
them
No
that,
spoilers,
separate.
bro.
no
No,
spoilers,
they
no
didn't
spoilers.
really.
Bro,
Hold on, no
it
spoilers. I
ain't
didn't
no
see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't really do that, Onzo.
Bro,
It's not.
they
It's
don't,
not.
bro.
It's not.
Enzo,
It's not like that.
it
They
ain't no
don't say
spoilers,
she.
bro.
No. Sorry.
It ain't no spoilers because it's trash. You're not gonna be spoiled. You only spoiled when something is dope. Onzo, trust me. You watch this movie,
No,
you're gonna
I
waste 2
liked
hours of your
it.
life.
I'm
bro.
watching it tonight. I'm watching
You gonna be
It was
mad.
so
I'm telling
meta. It's so meta too. It's like
That's
Too
what
meta.
everybody is
Bro,
saying.
that is the
Yeah,
worst
it's
story.
cool.
Just take it out of Matrix, period.
That shit was straight out of Space Jam: A New Legacy when they said
Bro,
the thing
that was
about
the
Warner
worst
Brothers.
story. That
I
was the
liked
worst
it. I like
story.
how meta it was. I love like really meta shit. So
I
You
I
like
didn't
thought that was
mind the
cool.
meta stuff in the beginning. I just think the second half of the movie, once it got into like
It
him
drags.
being in the
Yeah.
Matrix, I was just like, wait a second, what's going on here? Like, it was just a bunch of nonsense. I didn't know exactly what had happened in the history
Nerd man.
and where
I
they
was thinking
were
like
and
this,
what the
nerd
machine.
man. I
It
was
was
thinking
just
Keanu Reeves must be on the pipe now. Because when you make this type of stuff, you doing bad.
He's doing bad
Yeah.
right now.
And I'm
it
not
was a
being
complete
biased.
fucking mess, dude. It was
I'm not
really
being
like I was
biased.
I
enjoying the
don't think it
beginning.
was a
Actually,
mess. I think it's
Listen,
a,
I was
like.
Yes, it
enjoying the
I
was.
think
beginning.
it's a.
Actually,
I think it's a good film. It's
Ashley,
not.
I was rocking with you when you said Far From Home. I could have took that, and you said this is trash. It ain't no way you can look
Yeah,
at this
Ashley.
film and say
It's
this was a
not
good
trash.
movie.
I'm so
It's
surprised
not.
by this take from you. You're Hot Takes Tuesday now.
Nerd
I
man
really
today.
thought
eh?
that I was not gonna like it, guys. I was like, oh, I'm about to watch this, a waste of my time. I really
Ashley
thought I was
likes
gonna
Matrix
hate it.
Resurrections.
to be fair to Ashley, the beginning is really good. Like
Yes, I mean
in the
the
beginning,
I
second half
disagree.
it kind of does
really
fall apart a
interesting,
bit,
and then
but
but
it's
the
not
action is
like
so bad though as well. Like
Well, it looks
At
like Matt's
times.
mama bear liked
Like-
it too.
You know what?
what was
People
with
are
the
really
action?
different in this world because I'm telling you, that was trash times 1,000.
I want to hear when Onzo sees it. Have you seen it, Mike?
No, not yet.
Mike?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm curious. Like to me, it's
What's-
not like Rise of the Skywalker. Everybody's like, this is like no, it's not.
It's worse.
It's worse than
I
Rise
don't
of
That's what I heard.
Skywalker.
That's what I heard.
It's
I
worse
don't
than
think
Rise
Mike,
of
what you
I
do-
Skywalker.
don't think it's worse.
What you doing after 12 tonight, Mike?
Nothing. I don't think.
Me and Yellow's gonna watch it. So if you want to watch
Oh,
it,
yeah?
that's no problem.
Hey,
Yeah.
also,
Anybody else?
You're gonna be pissed. You gonna be pissed,
No,
bro.
but on so here's the thing, though, dude. Like, I'm serious. Can you once you watch it, please explain to me the second half of the movie?
I will.
explain
I'll
to me
try.
what
I
the
can't
plot
can
is.
ask-
explain to you the first half.
The first half, I
The
think that
first
I
half
think
was fine.
I think the
mean,
opening is. I like how it opens. I like, and then it does kind of get a little weird and at times, and I'm like, what's the guy?
Also,
Who's the guy?
okay,
made it-
Ashley,
The
Uh-huh.
analyst. What's the
And
name
I'll
of the
be quick.
analyst?
Also,
Who's the
they made
actor?
this like a Lifetime movie, bro. It's like a Lifetime.
Well,
It's
that's
not
what I'm
a
saying.
Lifetime
No.
movie.
Hold on. That's what I said because there was a scene that I watched where they're talking about Warner Brothers in a video game, and I was like, "What? Warner Brothers?"
no,
Yeah.
that bit's
I was like,
good.
okay.
That bit.
No,
And
it's
all
not.
that's
Here's
No,
the
it's
thing.
not.
I like.
Here's the thing. Here's the
I like
thing.
the post
I
credit
will say
scene. The
this.
post credit.
Why was that good in that movie, but not in Space Jam? So
I'll-
don't pull that
I'll-
shit on me, dude.
I'll say this, Onzo. watch all three Matrixes first before you watch this one, because
You're gonna have to, or else you're gonna be totally lost.
I think you'll be totally lost, because
I
I thought you could
remember
just
those
watch the
Matrix
first
movies.
one. If you remember them, maybe
Yeah.
you'll get more out of it. The
I
second
remember
half.
them. I've seen them more than
Bro,
one.
when the ending show you how Neo came back, you gonna be like, what?
That's what I want to see. Yeah, okay,
Did
good. I want to see what
did a baby write this? It's like a baby wrote that, bro.
That I'm not gonna say that part is not silly. Okay, there can be things in a movie that you're like scratch your head about, and you're like, "What is this?" But like the overall experience, I feel like it was a good movie.
Can't wait to watch.
It's like
this
it's like a 6 out of 10. You know, it's good.
Really?
No, that's high. I'm giving it a 0 out of 0.
A 5. If I give it a 5, to me, it's still failing. Okay, I have to at least give it like a 6.
Okay.
Ashley, you must have been smoking that good when you was watching that. Because I'm telling you.
Actually, I was not.
You lie.
I wasn't.
Oh yeah.
That movie was trash. And I'm the type of person, like you was explaining Far From Home and Homecoming. I could see your points. I can't see no points in this movie. I can't see no points in this movie. I just can't see it. Keanu Reeves, I hope you go to rehab. You on the pipe for making this one. You on the
Neil
pipe.
Patrick Harris, I thought was the fact that they cast Neil Patrick Harris, I thought was a little strange. And like I think
that's what I'm saying. He was the villain. He was the villain. Doogie Howser was the villain, bro.
How I Met Your Mother.
That was weird. You're gonna just take out Barney from.
Okay, I'll watch it tonight, and we can definitely do this.
And I'm sorry to derail that, but I'm just because I lost 2.5 hours of my life watching that bull crap.
trying to save the rest of us, eh?
Caution.
All right, so let's get back to the
Spider-Man. Yeah,
Nerdman. Yeah, you're negative.
Definitely be that.
Quick.
Actually, funnily enough, I understand why people love this movie, Spider-Man: No Way Out, and
what, you don't even know the name of the movie? What's the name of the movie? No Way Out.
No Way Home.
No Way Out.
No Way Home. Sorry.
Washing dishes.
But I do like movies more like The Matrix, more like in the tone of this Matrix films that has ideas and stuff in it. But when they do stuff that poorly, when they're doing these movies, it makes the things that the MCU does, like these big budget movies, it makes them look like they're excelling, that they're fucking just this well-oiled, slick machine at making these movies. So I understand why people love them. But I do think the fucking plot of this movie was pretty sloppy. I think the first half of it didn't gel quite well with the second. It went like,
not true.
I think there was problems. I think also the way that Andrew and Toby were introduced and what they had them do afterwards was kind of like a lot of what we loved about it was just the fact that they were there. We were projecting our own fucking emotions and feelings about the fact that, these guys are the Spider-Men we grew up with, and they're there in the MCU, and it's amazing that they're there. But actually what they did with them, they MCU'd them, they turned them into a bunch of like little SNL skits about the former movies.
What about the first and the second parts didn't gel?
I think it fit.
I think
it's seemingly like
two different movies, right?
The story, yes, but so is Endgame. Okay.
Facts.
Well, these two movies are playing a lot of each other.
And Endgame actually is a whole is completely almost an hour and a half of one movie, and then another hour and a half of another movie. So that happens, and I think that in No Way Home they do a better job in integrating both of those together, because you see the result of Mysterio, and here's the fallout, and then the spell. So all of it, for me, gels well together.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't think it's like the worst I've ever seen two halves of a movie not go well together, but I do think that it just... there's the beginning with the spells that I can hardly remember it, to be honest, but there's the beginning with the fucking spells and whatever with Doctor Strange, and then it suddenly goes into when Andrew and Toby arrive. For instance, this is one thing that I noticed. So Tom disappears, right? And he, he's fucked after like his Aunt May dies or whatever, so he's like really pissed off and shit, and he disappears. And like, instead of like following him for just a little bit to see what he's doing or whatever, they just go straight into like Andrew and Toby arriving, right? So there's no sense in which we get to like stay with Tom a little bit and see how he's feeling, see what he's planning to do to the Green Goblin or anything like that. It just goes straight like Tom. You get the bit with J. Jonah Jameson talking about like everywhere Tom goes, things go bad. And then it goes straight into this scene of them, like, oh, we can't find him. We've got to we've got to do magic spells to get Toby and Andrew there. And I just didn't think that gelled well. And then you go into this thing with all of them doing science experiments
Hold on. The point that you just made where they couldn't find him, when they're sitting at the kitchen table, they weren't actively out searching for him. They were worried because they see the footage on TV. They know that Aunt May is dead.
Right.
So it's not about them looking. They want to see him, but they're not actively outside searching for him. And the whole thing with the portals is a happy mistake in the beginning. So it's not like they were out there searching for him. So, I mean, come on now.
How many times have you seen the film, by the way, just out of interest?
7.
No. 7?
You seen it 7 times?
I've seen it 3 times in theaters and then on
Nine.
Because I've seen it
for real.
I've seen it once, so
that's fine. And you probably were washing your dishes or picking your nose, so you
I wasn't washing my dishes, but like I just remember it was jarring at that point where it was just like, wait a second. Like
I think what you're saying is because something very serious just happened, and then we get like the introduction of Andrew and Toby like almost immediately.
Yeah, which kind of just
they're also sat at the table and they say, we just want.
But then they start making
Peter.
jokes.
Right.
The Spider-Mans come in and they're
like Nana is flying around in the background, like oh, and like Andrew's crawling on the ceiling.
She has no emotional weight with Peter Parker. She's confused, and there's these random men in her house.
I know, but there's a lot of jokey stuff happening that's undercutting the weight of the emotion.
Then let's just go watch. Watch a serious movie. Like that's all I can tell you.
No. I mean, it's
I don't think. I think that you get stuck in like you had those moments that are very emotional and you feel it. I'm sorry that it's not just all sad and they're not like slitting their throats through the whole movie.
It's not about that. It's about immediately following a very serious moment. A joke.
No. See, it's like people. I heard people complain about Tom because he goes from devastation, seeing his aunt murdered, and then he gets quote unquote jokey, and then he gets murderous, and it's like when you go through severe trauma.
Thank you.
And then you decide you have a task that's in front of you because it goes from being traumatized to seeing that there are 2 other individuals who also happen to be named Peter Parker from different universes that have experienced the same sort of trauma, to the fact that, okay, well, now what we need to do is we need to fix this shit. So they have that task in front of them that they need to accomplish, and that gives him something to do. He didn't forget that his aunt was murdered right in front of him, but he says, I got to do this, and that's in the back of his mind. It doesn't go away. It isn't all jokey. And then when that happens, after they do what they do, and he has the person who murdered his aunt in front of him, of course he's going to fucking kill him. And that's where the rage comes from.
Yeah, no,
wait. One at a time.
I do want to say one thing. When you experience loss, you have a range of emotions, okay?
Sure.
And been there, done that. You can be happy one moment, crying in the next, and ready to punch somebody down the throat in the next.
But what about when Toby talks about Harry and then they make a joke about it immediately? Like it's something serious and it's something that's calling back to the old movies, and we're like, oh shit.
Does Toby make a joke, or is Ned reassure his friend?
No, he starts it off as the joke. He's like, oh, kind of tragic, but like half jokingly.
That's not how I took it.
And also, just because those things
I don't
are
take that way.
stupid doesn't mean that the movie's shitty.
And I do want to address one person in the chat because you like have an issue with me and you keep coming at me. I have seen Captain America, the first Avenger, all of the MCU movies almost more than 100 times. The ones that I own and that are on Disney Plus. Okay, because I own all of them on digital copies, and I have the whole 24 I have the whole Infinity Saga. Okay, I have seen every movie several times. I take extensive notes on every film because I break down every film. So Tim, if you have any other questions, I will likely answer them. So don't come for me, homeboy, ever. Okay.
All right,
Don't worry about Tim. Tim is cool.
Yeah.
Let's go out.
So I accept your explanation, Rogue, like of when you go through trauma, you go through various stages and etc. etc. But I think the issue is that I don't think it was done for these jokes in the middle. I don't think it was done for the reasons that you're claiming. I don't think it was done because they thought those were the logical steps that the character would go through after his Aunt May died. I think they were done because they were fan service. Oh, let's talk about the fact that Toby doesn't have a web slinger thing he creates the webs organically. Or let's talk about his back, because he fell on his back in his movie. Let's all the greatest hits, like one after the other, and it was done in a way that I think was insincere. It didn't come off as sincere, and specifically I think that they weren't really the characters that they were from those original Spider-Man
Why
movies.
they're not supposed to have growth? Why should you be stagnant and be the same? That's
sure. But
the
fact of the matter is, well, no, I'm not. I'm just saying my own point of view. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about it.
And I want to get to film elitist, Norman.
We will. Okay, sorry, but I was just saying that a lot of people came to see this movie to see Toby and Andrew's Spider-Man, right? So you saying, the fact that why haven't they grown? We still want to know.
Wait. Why did you pay to go see Toby and Andrew's Spider-Man?
I was thinking that too, though.
There was nothing about them in the marketing.
Because the people in the movie theater, they sure didn't know. They was screaming.
It was all over the internet. We know.
But a lot of people didn't know.
They were there to aid Tom Holland's Peter Parker. They were not the main. They're not the main characters.
Sure, but they could still be. They still can be the characters that they were in those original movies, rather than just these MCU joke machines.
A cool Nemo.
They were just basically became after they told their little traumatic story. They became MCU joke machines.
Let's see him do that. Let's see super cool like emo Peter Parker. Yeah, I want that back in my life. Yeah, I really want to see that. No, thank you.
What are you talking about? When was he?
Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, his Spider-Man. That's what I'm talking about. Have you not seen?
I've seen the Amazing Spider-Man. He wasn't emo. He was just a little bit too cool for
a little emo.
Anyway, go on, film elitist.
Yeah, let me get to film elitist. So, film elitist, go ahead with your negatives, bro.
I don't know if I want to go there, man. I feel like
you're gonna be
ambushed, bro.
Hold on.
No, you came in here with your gun, not me.
But hold on. Let me just put it this way. You guys know, Nerdman, Mike, and Elitist. You guys know that you can't come in here and trash Tom Holland Spider-Man without Ashley coming at you. You know that.
I didn't even mention him, bro.
That's the thing, Mike.
Mention him.
The few issues I do have with this movie have nothing to do with Tom Holland.
Yeah, right? Same here. But go ahead.
And some of it is similar to what Nerdman is saying. I mean, I'm not trying to piss anybody's cereal. I fucking really love the movie, but it does remind me of Endgame. It's two different movies put together. And I think as a movie, it's not as good as Endgame for me. And I'm a Spider-Man fan through and through. That's my dude since I was a kid, since I first got into comic books, since I first got into these characters. I'm a Marvel guy. I'm a Spider-Man guy all the way. The ending of this movie made me cry. I said that earlier. That was classic Spider-Man. I love that shit. I loved Dafoe's performance. I love so much about this. But if you sit down and critically analyze some parts of this movie for just a second, even half a second, think about it and just take off the blinders of the excitement, there is a lot of dumb shit happening, right? Whether it's the Ned portals thing, which Ashley has filled me on some things that maybe explain that a little better, but I still feel confused about it and conflicted. I don't know if that's the best way to introduce Toby and Andrew into this movie. And there are jokes that at times seem like they undercut emotional moments, right? Like Nerdman was talking about. It wasn't a huge deal for me, but I did notice it. That's all I'm saying. And I think my biggest problem was, like, why does Green Goblin kill Aunt May, fly away, and then just wait to insert himself into the battle again so he can hit MJ or hit Peter with the glider to stop MJ? It's almost like they wrote that just so, like, he's there to kill Aunt May and he's there to have Andrew for the MJ moment.
I don't know why Tom even took Aunt May to that situation. That was bizarre
why
to me.
was Aunt May
He didn't
there?
take her.
Why was Aunt May there at that conjo? Because people were throwing bricks in their home. Yeah. They weren't safe in their house, so they went to Happy's home. All right,
and she wanted to help her baby. That was her son.
But they were also taking. He was also taking the villains there to.
Yes. Why did he take the villains there?
So why would he take?
Because
Aunt May
there was
to where the villains were.
No, Aunt May was already there.
Yes. So why not tell her to fucking leave? I don't know. It's just like this is a pretty dangerous situation.
The government and everybody is looking for this missing Stark tech.
Well, it's dangerous for her on the streets.
She got a point, because that's what Armor Wars is going to be about, because everybody wants that Stark tech.
Right.
Everybody
wants if she leaves the apartment, Nerdman, there are people that want to hurt her out there too. So Ashley's got a point.
All right. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. But there just were a lot of things that were not huge deals, but they were just like little moments, is all I'm saying. That if I break it down, I'm like, okay, that took me out of the moment for a second, or I didn't really like that joke, or this seems kind of silly. I don't understand why Electro's in this universe. He doesn't know who Peter Parker is. Like, the Lizard was fucking trash. I can say that. Is anybody going to disagree with that? The Lizard was fucking trash.
I think he was
a nothing burger. He wasn't really in the mood. Like, he was there, but he didn't need to be there.
Yeah, just unnecessary.
He didn't, like, it was unnecessary when you could have gave more time to the other villains. We didn't need like 5 villains. Like, because it's almost like, oh, we just need one more for Sinister Six. So it was like weird. It's like,
right.
Why do we need 5 villains?
Really, Green Goblin is the Green Goblin's the one that it's making shit happen in this movie.
But I feel like Green Goblin, because this is Tom Holland's last hoorah at MCU, right?
No.
Spider-Man
4 is in under development.
Yeah, they actually.
No, I know Spider-Man 4 is coming, but what I'm saying is, ain't Sony about to take him back?
No. They still have more films coming. Even the Spider-Woman and the Spider-Woman stuff is another joint venture.
I do have
one making money off that though. How's Sony making money? Is they getting half?
Okay. Marvel now, the way it is, the MCU before put up no money, and they would get 5% of the profits and 100% of the merchandising. Okay, now since the merger, they wanted 50%, and that's where the breakdown happened between Disney and Sony. And then when they came back to the table, they came up with the deal. Oh, now if you want more money, you have to put up 25% of the cost to make the movie. See, before they were getting 5% without putting up any money.
Oh, so Sony was just getting them checks, huh?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, because it was a produced movie. They got their MCU movie for free, and then MCU was getting a 5% kickback. You know what I'm saying? Off the sales and the profits of the film. Now, Marvel has to now front up the 25% of the cost, and then they reap back 25% of those profits from the movie.
Gotcha.
Marvel gets 25%.
Marvel, okay.
So Sony is getting the bigger cut because they own the Spider-Man.
They own the rights to Spider-Man. Yeah.
Man,
I do have one more thing to add. That's the
best business deal ever, to let Marvel do all the work and you just you chilling.
Yeah,
that's the whole reason that they're entertaining this. Like,
you know why? Because if not, we're gonna get Spider-Man Venom, right? We're gonna get that. Right. I mean, because we see
they can't build a universe the same way Marvel does.
They can't build a universe, and we see that when they try how they try to cram and rush, and now it's like they're still stuck in that timeline where they're still making, no offense, a Raimi type of film that's completely out of time with Venom.
But I don't know, because that Morbius
in the tone.
Morbius and that Spider-Verse is coming. Look like
That Spider-Verse still has the Marvel studio.
Ashley, I don't think Venom reminds me of Raimi, but they are.
I'm
shitty
talking
movies.
about the cheesiness. Like when you look at it in the time that we are in now,
Dude,
they don't
Spider-Man
age
2
Hold on,
shits
guys.
on this movie, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. It
Hold on, guys.
absolutely
Guys.
takes.
Enzo.
Yeah, gotta give the grades because I got my other stream starting up.
yes.
So
Well done.
yeah. So Fatal, what's your grade for this movie?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Ashley?
Well, I still haven't graded, like put a formal grade on it yet.
Come on now.
Because I don't want to because the reason why I haven't is, and I'm going to explain it, is
recency bias.
Yeah, I don't want to have a grade like after I saw Endgame and was like, and as much as I love Endgame for all the fan service and the culmination of the Infinity Saga. So like I guess right now, if I'm going to give it a score, I would give it like an 8.5.
All right. You, Mike?
I would give it a 9.
Give it a 9. Nerdman?
6.4.
Oh my
See?
god. Oh my
Straight up.
god.
That's that
Straight
man.
up.
That's his opinion.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
That's what makes the world
Straight
beautiful.
up.
We got different opinions, man.
He's got lots of them.
Because she think the Matrix Resurrection is good, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, I did my review on it already, like on my channel, and I think I made some very good points as to
I
why
heard that
give
Okay,
it
I'm
a
gonna check
6.4.
that out, bro. I'm gonna check that out.
About
And what's your-
Spider-Man? No, he
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, I'll pass on it because I know. And what's your grade, Elitas?
8.
Give it an 8. Okay. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I think it's my second favorite Marvel movie. Infinity War is still number 1, and then Spider-Man No Way Home is number 2.
This is over Captain America Winter Soldier.
What was your number one?
No,
Yes.
no, it's
Infinity War.
In my
Okay.
opinion, it's not. No, is it epic? Is it grand? Is it big in scale? Yes. But is this movie better than Captain America's Winter Soldier? No. Is this movie better than Avengers 2012? No. Is it better than Civil War, in my opinion? No.
No.
Guardians.
I'm gonna even say this, Ashley, and I know technically this is not an MCU. I know this technically not an MCU movie, but I still count it as Marvel. It don't hit harder than Logan, because Logan and Winter Soldier, those are top tier.
What about Iron Man 1?
Logan and Winter Soldier?
I think it's
ain't
might be
nothing
better than
touching
Iron
them.
Man 1, but different.
I
I
don't
think
know,
the
fam.
acting
Ain't nothing touching.
is
Sometimes
stronger
I
in
can't
Iron Man.
decide. I can't decide whether I like Logan or Winter Soldier, which one is the best. That Logan will make you start crying at the end, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, but
It's
I
good.
mean, but I really like this movie. Like, I might I'm going to give it time because at first I was like a 9, and now.
But can we go in a circle
it's
real
not.
quick and ask this? Is this the best Spider-Man movie? Can we go around
No.
real fast?
No.
I'm sorry.
That's
I-
Into the Spider-Verse.
No.
Okay.
Okay,
For me,
live action.
okay, Enzo, what is yours real quick? What's your
Um,
favorite Spider-Man movie?
Y'all about to
It's
shit
still
your
a
pants about
toss-up
that,
between Spider-Man 2 and this one, but I think I would give this one a little bit more of an edge over Spider-Man 2. So yeah, I have it as the best
I
Spider-Man
can't
movie.
decide either if Spider-Man 2 the best or this one the best. I can't
Mhm.
decide, bro.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
hard.
decide.
It's hard. Ash?
I'll reserve my favorite for when we have like more time because I know y'all are gonna like shit the bed.
You don't
shit
seen
your
it
pants.
7 times though.
No, which was my favorite Spider-Man movie?
Oh, I know the
Oh,
answer.
Gotcha.
What is it?
That's it.
Far From Home.
No,
All right.
but is
Mike? Yeah, go
Close.
ahead, Sarge. Close? Okay.
He
Mike,
said,
Better
"Feelings
Homecoming."
don't mean that's cold, bro.
yeah.
Homecoming.
Danny
Homecoming
said
is my
Super
favorite.
Set. He
Did
said,
he say
also,
first?
please Phantom Zone, Ashley, Fatal, and Nerdman. Yeah.
What I
see
do, Danny? I thought I said everything you would love about these movies.
Mike, is it the best?
Yeah. But then again, I mean, it doesn't have that. The first 5 are trash. So yeah.
Yeah, I like
Nerdman,
I mean,
is it
the
best?
movies would be good if they got rid of Toby.
Right. Let's
That
just
man
make
hate Toby.
Let's
Yeah,
make
I'm
a-
a Phantom Zone.
a-
Mike,
a-
I hope
there
you
you go.
leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine. Ah!
Yo, let's make a real quick correction to everything everyone's been saying. Amazing Spider-Man's better than this. Spider-Man 1 is better than this. Spider-Man
No,
2 is
Amazing
better than
Spider-Man
this.
is not better than
And
this.
Into the Spider-Verse is
No,
better
Which
than
one's the
this.
best?
It's
Which one's
not.
the best, Nerd?
This is the
No,
Well, you
fifth.
said live action.
Spider-Man
Which one is
2.
the best? Okay,
Spider-Man 2 is the best one.
I
Phil
don't
This is the
Melides?
fifth.
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2. All right. So with that being said, guys, I do have to close it up. I am sorry I have another stream to go to. It was fun. Thank you, my guest, Fatal J. Listen, if you guys want to continue this another day, we can do it. Just message me.
I
It's
just want
not
to
a
see them
problem.
fight.
It's fun.
I'm
It's
gonna
fun, man.
physically fight Widow one day. Like,
Oh
I'm
Yeah,
my
serious.
God.
you understand he's a beautiful headache. Like Nerdman has a special place in my heart, but when we're doing this, I just want to
Strangle his
choke
ass.
him.
Get it.
I love
Guys,
him.
shout out your channels real quick. Fatal J.
If you want to see the best content on midget stripping and sliding down poles, make sure to check out the Fatal J channel. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Ashley.
Well, I should be back the end of this weekend. Probably maybe tomorrow. If this migraine goes away, you'll see my face and you'll hear me ramble on, and it'll be the ramblings of a mad woman coming back to you very, very soon.
That would be great. Next up, Mike.
I've Row Comics. I show books that are coming out, and also saw some books on there too.
And if you ain't sub to him, sub to everybody on these panel, man. Everybody does some good stuff. You know what I mean? It's great. I love having these guys on. Fatal J's first time on the channel. I appreciate you coming on too. And before I get to Nerdman, Danny sent a $2 super chat and said, I will never have Nerdman on my channel.
Wow.
Nerdman, shout out your channel.
I love Danny. I'm the second best reviewer of nerd stripping and pole dancing. So if you wanna, I don't know. I'm Hot Takes Tuesdays. Look me up. I'm good.
Lots of hot
There you
takes
go.
there.
And Phil Melides.
Oh, I don't fuck around with my channel anymore. So just shout out to you guys. Like and subscribe this stream, and check out the Widow and Fatal J and Mike and Nerdman and everybody.
Excellent. Much appreciated. Next up, guys, will be the OOC. The topics will be the 137 Shots documentary that was on Netflix, and do Black people depend on God too much? So make sure you check that one out. It should be a fire topic. Roberto is in there waiting. Danny Graham will be on there later on to discuss with us. So much
I'm interested in that.
All right.
I haven't
And
seen
maybe I'll
I haven't
send you the
seen the
link.
documentary yet. I gotta watch it. Oh,
It's good. It's good.
thank
With
you,
that being
Tim.
said, guys, peace, love, and hair grease. See you on the next one.
Out.